into our healthcare systems. After these inspiring presentations, join our AI-moderated debate to explore different frameworks for mental health integration, addressing challenges and opportunities. Together, let's envision a healthier, more equitable future for all. Universal healthcare is not a luxury. It is a human right. When we treat health as a privilege reserved for those who can pay, we divide societies into two realities: those who can heal and those who are left behind. But when we recognize health as a public good, we unlock an engine of social progress that benefits everyone. Look at the Nordic countries. Their universal healthcare systems are not perfect, but they ensure that a child born in a rural village has the same right to a doctor as a child born in a capital city. Rwanda, after the devastation of genocide, rebuilt its healthcare system around equity, and today, more than 90% of its citizens are covered. These examples prove that universal healthcare is possible, even in resource-constrained settings. And the impact goes far beyond medicine. Studies consistently show that universal healthcare strengthens economies. A healthy workforce is more productive. Fewer families fall into poverty due to medical bills. Communities become more resilient against crises, from pandemics to climate shocks. So the question is not, can we afford universal healthcare, but rather, can we afford not to?
Breaking news. A major global event has just been announced. The World Peace Products and Services Expo and Conference will go live online across major social media platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Zoom, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and more. Date: Sunday, September 21st, 2025. Time: 12 Mals, 19 Sat, UTC, 7 hours. Location: online, accessible worldwide. This groundbreaking virtual conference and expo will bring together governments, businesses, NGOs, academics, and thought leaders from every corner of the globe. Under the theme, Building a Sustainable Future Through the Peaceism Ecosystem, the event will showcase peace-driven products, innovative services, and collaborative solutions designed to tackle humanity's most urgent challenges. At the heart of the expo is the Peaceism Ecosystem Framework, built on 7 foundational pillars that guide sustainable peace and development for the future. Stay tuned for exclusive coverage, live updates, and highlights from this historic event.
1. Employment Revolution. Sustainable job creation models, future skills development programs, social entrepreneurship incubators.
2. Food security and sovereignty, regenerative agricultural practices, smart farming technologies, equitable food distribution systems.
3. Healthcare for all. Universal healthcare access models, mental health integration frameworks, preventive care ecosystems.
4. Housing and sustainable communities. Affordable housing innovations, eco-urban development plans, disaster-resilient infrastructure.
5. Education transformation. Digital learning platforms, peace education curricula, lifelong upskilling initiatives.
6. Justice and equity systems, transparent governance technologies, restorative justice models, human rights protection frameworks.
7. Safety and global resilience, conflict resolution methodologies, disaster preparedness systems, cybersecurity solutions,
Welcome to Healthcare for All, where we explore the future of universal healthcare and preventive care. Over the next hour, you'll hear from AI-generated experts sharing innovative models that aim to make healthcare accessible, affordable, and effective for everyone. Discover how preventive care can reduce costs and improve lives, and learn about the latest strategies to integrate mental health into our healthcare systems. After these inspiring presentations, join our AI-moderated debate to explore different frameworks for mental health integration, addressing challenges and opportunities. Together, let's envision a healthier, more equitable future for all. Universal healthcare is not a luxury. It is a human right. When we treat health as a privilege reserved for those who can pay, we divide societies into two realities: those who can heal and those who are left behind. But when we recognize health as a public good, we unlock an engine of social progress that benefits everyone. Look at the Nordic countries. Their universal healthcare systems are not perfect, but they ensure that a child born in a rural village has the same right to a doctor as a child born in a capital city. Rwanda, after the devastation of genocide, rebuilt its healthcare system around equity, and today, more than 90% of its citizens are covered. These examples prove that universal healthcare is possible, even in resource-constrained settings. And the impact goes far beyond medicine. Studies consistently show that universal healthcare strengthens economies. A healthy workforce is more productive. Fewer families fall into poverty due to medical bills. Communities become more resilient against crises, from pandemics to climate shocks. So the question is, not can we afford universal healthcare, but rather can we afford not to? Every delay, every year of inaction costs us lives, potential, and opportunities for human flourishing. But let's be clear. Universal healthcare is not a one-size-fits-all formula. Each country must design a model that fits its unique context, its culture, its resources, its people. Some may lean on public systems. Others may blend private and public partnerships. What matters is the principle that no one is denied care because of who they are or what they earn. Preventive care is the most powerful yet most underutilized tool in healthcare. Every dollar invested in prevention saves up to $5 in treatment. Think about that. A small investment in keeping people healthy spares families the devastating costs of hospital stays, lost wages, and chronic illness. Yet too often, our systems wait for disease to appear before they act. What if we flipped the script? Instead of waiting for heart disease, we invested in nutrition education and regular blood pressure screenings. Instead of focusing only on cancer treatment, we emphasized early detection through accessible screenings. Instead of treating diabetes once it has advanced, we built healthier food systems and promoted active lifestyles at the community level. The evidence is clear. Prevention transforms healthcare from reactive to proactive. It changes the very definition of what it means to be healthy. Health becomes not simply the absence of disease, but the presence of well-being. And prevention is not just about the individual. It's about systems and communities. When a city invests in clean air policies, it prevents asthma and lung disease for thousands. When schools prioritize physical activity and balanced meals, they lay the foundation for a healthier generation. When governments fund vaccination programs, they save millions of lives and billions of dollars. But prevention requires long-term vision and political courage, because the benefits of prevention are not always immediate. Politicians may not see the results in a single election cycle, yet the payoff for humanity is enormous. Imagine a healthcare system where illness is the exception, not the norm. A system that celebrates wellness as much as it responds to disease. A world where your local clinic isn't just a place you go when you're sick, but a hub for health promotion, education, and community connection. That is the power of prevention. Not just saving money, not just saving lives, but building societies where health is sustained, protected, and shared by all. Artificial intelligence is already reshaping healthcare. From predicting disease outbreaks to detecting the earliest signs of cancer, AI tools are democratizing access to life-saving insights. A rural clinic with limited staff can now use AI-driven diagnostics to catch diseases earlier than ever before. A smartphone app can track subtle changes in speech or movement, signaling neurological conditions before they advance. And global health agencies use AI to map and predict epidemics, buying precious time to save lives. But here's the truth. AI is not magic. It is not a cure-all. And it must never be allowed to replace the human touch at the heart of medicine. The key is balance. Technology must complement human care, not compete with it. Why? Because healthcare is not only about data, it is about trust. A machine can read a scan, but only a human doctor can hold your hand when you are afraid. An algorithm can flag a risk, but only a nurse can explain it with compassion and help you feel safe. If we design wisely, AI can take away the heavy burdens, the repetitive tasks, the administrative overload, the delays in diagnosis, freeing clinicians to do what they do best: care. Imagine doctors spending less time typing into computers and more time listening to their patients. Imagine health workers in underserved areas gaining the same decision support tools as those in the world's best hospitals. Of course, there are challenges: data privacy, bias in algorithms, unequal access to digital tools. If left unchecked, AI could widen inequalities instead of reducing them. That is why ethics and inclusivity must guide innovation at every step. Together, we can create smarter, more compassionate healthcare ecosystems. Systems where artificial intelligence strengthens human intelligence, where efficiency serves empathy, where technology is not the story, but the instrument that allows the story of human healing to unfold with more dignity and more reach than ever before. As a voice for patients, I want to remind us, behind every policy, every system, every budget decision is a person. Someone's mother, father, child. It's easy, when we talk about healthcare, to get lost in numbers, cost per capita, coverage percentages, mortality rates. These statistics are important, but they are not the whole story, because behind each number is a life. Behind every data point is a human being who dreams, struggles, and deserves dignity. Healthcare is not only about curing illness, it is about dignity, trust, and hope. It is about whether a young mother feels safe walking into a clinic, whether an elderly man can afford his medicine without choosing between food and treatment, whether a teenager struggling with depression finds someone who listens. I once heard a patient describe healthcare as a doorway. For some, that doorway is wide open, affordable, welcoming, easy to walk through. For others, the doorway is locked, blocked by cost, distance, or stigma. A true healthcare for all system ensures that the doorway is open to everyone, no matter who they are or where they come from. And here's the truth. Patients know what they need. Too often, systems are designed without listening to the very people they serve. If we want healthcare that works, we must design it not just for people, but with people. That means listening to patient voices in policy rooms, including communities in decisions about care, and respecting the lived experiences of those most affected. Because healthcare is not charity. It is not something given to the poor or marginalized. It is a partnership between systems and citizens, built on respect. A healthcare for all system listens to its people and ensures no one is left behind. Yes, mental health must be integrated. 1 in 4 people will face a mental health challenge in their lifetime. That is not a statistic about them. It is a statistic about us, our families, our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends. Yet for too long, mental health has lived in the shadows of healthcare, treated as optional, secondary, or somehow less urgent. By integrating mental health into primary care, we change that story. We reduce stigma by making mental health a normal, routine part of the healthcare journey. When a patient comes for a checkup, screening for depression should be as natural as checking blood pressure. When someone visits their local clinic, access to counseling or mental health support should be as expected as access to antibiotics. Integration improves access. In many countries, there are far too few psychiatrists, psychologists, or specialists, but primary care providers are everywhere. In community clinics, in local health centers, in the places people already go for help. Equipping them with tools, training, and resources to address mental health expands the reach of care exponentially. And most importantly, integration treats the whole person, body and mind, together. We know that mental health impacts physical health. Depression worsens outcomes for diabetes and heart disease. Stress weakens the immune system. Trauma affects recovery from illness. To separate the mind from the body is not only artificial, it is dangerous. Without integration, we continue to treat mental health as an afterthought instead of a fundamental part of health. The result? People suffer in silence. Families carry burdens alone. Economies lose billions in productivity. And lives are cut short, not by disease alone, but by despair. Imagine instead a system where mental health is not hidden in specialist clinics or whispered in shame, but welcomed openly at the very front door of healthcare. A system where seeking help for depression is as ordinary and as accepted as seeking help for the flu. Integration sounds ideal, but we must proceed cautiously. There is no question that mental health is essential. No one here would deny its importance. But the challenge lies not in recognizing the need. It lies in how we build systems that actually deliver care. Many healthcare systems around the world are already underfunded, understaffed, and overstretched. In some places, clinics lack enough doctors to handle even basic physical health needs. Nurses are working double shifts, supplies are short, and patients wait hours just to be seen. To add mental health to this already fragile system, without major new resources, risks overwhelming it even further. Integration without investment can dilute care quality for both physical and mental health. A general practitioner may be asked to diagnose and treat depression in the morning, manage diabetes in the afternoon, and handle emergencies in between. Often without the specialized training or time required, the result could be well-intentioned but ineffective care. Specialized systems, when properly funded and staffed, may serve patients better. Mental health requires expertise, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, community counselors. It requires environments where confidentiality, time, and trust are prioritized. Folding it into primary care without the right safeguards risks reducing complex issues into checklists, or worse, missing them altogether. And let's be honest, integration is not cost neutral. It demands investment in training, infrastructure, supervision, and ongoing support. Without that, we may raise expectations but fail to meet them, leaving patients disillusioned and providers burned out. So the real question is not whether mental health matters. It does. The question is whether integration is the most effective and sustainable path forward for every context. In some systems, the answer may be yes. In others, building strong, well-funded, specialized mental health services alongside primary care may be more realistic.